Hiya folks, and you're welcome to episode 2 of the TURAS Land Rover build. In this episode we're going to be getting stuck into the whole mechanical side of this build, and we're going to be doing some work on the body of the vehicle, reclaiming parts of the vehicle and so on. So yeah, we're really excited to be at this stage now. After this episode we're going to be looking at more of the whole camping, touring, rooftop tents, type of awning, roof rack, all that sort of stuff. So we do hope you find that interesting. So for now, we'll just get stuck into it. Thanks again for watching. Cheers, guys.
So here we are, all excited. What's next?
Yeah, very excited now. We're just about to get started on it. So, you know, this is a couple of years in the planning, and as I said, we're just really excited that we're getting stuck into it now. So the first thing is to bring it to the garage, and we're going to start doing some of the bigger stuff. There's a noise coming from the vehicle. I'm not sure if it's coming from the clutch or the flywheel, or if it's a worn spigot bearing. But we'll be changing all of that. The clutch and the flywheel. We'll be obviously doing a full diagnostic on it to try and find out if there's anything else major, which hopefully there won't be. There is a leak in the radiator. We're going to change that. A bit of a crack in the alternator, and a couple of other small bits and pieces. But as I said, after the diagnostics is done, hopefully nothing too sinister will pop up.
So having to reclaim as much as you can?
Yeah, we're going to reclaim as much as we can. I mean, this build is, we're not going to be buying everything new first. We are working with some of our partners who are going to be showcasing some of their products on it. We're going to be buying our own products, and we're going to be reclaiming pretty much as we can. Look, this vehicle has seen a fair bit of beaches over the last 20 years. I love doing a small bit of fishing, not very well, but so like getting off down to the beaches and setting up camp there for a couple of days at a time. And obviously when you do that for over a number of years, it's just not great for your chassis and for causes rust and all that sort of stuff. So there is surface rust, and we'll be cleaning up as much of that as we can. It's not too bad. The chassis is not too bad, but certainly as regards components on the vehicle, we'll be reclaiming them and cleaning them up and putting them back in. And yeah.
And what about the suspension?
So suspension, major part of this. We've never really had a suspension that we can say that we had real confidence to take. Well, when we're taking the vehicle to some of the places we've taken to it over the years, but the suspension that's going to go on this, we're working very closely with Euro for parts on that. We think it's going to be the best suspension for this vehicle, and that's just going to open up a whole new world for us when it comes to taking on some of the tougher stuff. So that's going to be a really exciting part of this build, yeah. So
it all sounds easy peasy to me.
Well, no, I wouldn't say it's all easy peasy. I mean, anybody who's worked on a Land Rover will tell you that they're not the easiest vehicles in the world to be working with. I've noticed over the years, I mean, anytime I brought this vehicle to a mechanic who wasn't a Land Rover mechanic, I mean, they were delighted to see the back of it, because they do take a bit of work. But look, as I said, this is a real learning curve for us. We're going to do as much as this as we can, and it's not going to be a quick job. We're going to take our time over the next couple of months. We're obviously going to be bringing it to the mechanic who will be able to do the bigger jobs, because we don't have the equipment or the facilities to do that. So that'll be all done in the garage. But as I said, there's going to be a good few long nights. My wife won't see me a lot over the next couple of weeks, but anyhow, that's all good. It's a once off, and it's hopefully will allow this vehicle to keep going for the next 20-30 years. Yeah, so it's all good. Okay, so here we go. Time to get the Land Rover up in the hoist and get a good look and see what we're dealing with. It's been just 2 years since we actually got the full gearbox reconditioned in the Land Rover, and at the time we probably should have got the clutch and flywheel changed, but we didn't, so that was a bit of a mistake. You can see here it was pretty bad, the gearbox. So yeah, but look, we're going to put it in now. We've had a pretty bad noise, and if you listen to it here, it's pretty bad. So yeah, we think that's either a worn spigot bearing or something to do with flywheel. So we're using the Bear Mark clutch and flywheel kit, and this is for the R380 gearbox. It comes with a 3-year warranty, so it's not the heavy duty kit, but we think it'll be perfect. There you go, plenty of oil. Wouldn't be a Land Rover without plenty of oil. So it's a pretty big enough job, this. You do need certain type of equipment to get it all out. There's the slave cylinder. So it's a great opportunity for us just to check and see how things are. There's the old bearing. There's the new one. A little bit of wear here.
That's the play there. It's not. You're allowed a little bit of play that way.
Yeah.
But have it this way, up and down. Here, watch. Up.
Okay,
and down.
so there shouldn't be any play.
Well, there should be a little fraction, but that's way too much.
Yeah.
Way too much. That exceeds the limit. That. Pulling that up and down.
So you reckon that could be the noise?
That's the noise.
That's the noise.
Ah,
yeah.
The flywheel.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So that's
there is
it.
a lot of wear on the touch disc too.
Yeah.
See, you can see it even when the light gets shiny and it gets well worth replacing.
See all those? That's all the wear there.
This is a cause of a lot of your problem.
All right. Okay.
That play up and down.
Yeah. So there you go. First major job done. So there's the new flywheel. Pretty heavy. There's the old spigot bearing, which is pretty worn. And there's the new clutch. Looks good. You know, as an 18-year-old vehicle, there are other things I'm definitely going to have to address here. You know, there's the old starter motor. It's actually fine, but there are other things that just need a bit of work. But overall, it's not too bad. You know, plenty of oil. Can't do much about that really, other than fix a few seals. It's always going to be leaking. Got to do the radiator as well. I had a leak in the radiator, so I had to get a radiator from Bearmac. I ended up ordering the wrong one. It was a Discovery 3 one. But anyways, they quickly sent me out the correct one. It was my mistake. And there's some of the old pipes. They're pretty bad, so I'm going to have to change some of these. So when I picked up the vehicle from the lads, I noticed that there was a bit of play in the slick shift, in the gear change. Yeah, it was just very, very, very loose. It just didn't feel right. And then it just dawned on me that a number of years ago, about 10 years ago, I used to work as a freelance photographer and writer for a number of magazines, camping and four-wheel drive magazines in Australia. And on one particular shoot, I was about, I don't know, 1,500 kilometers from Sydney, and I ended up doing in the gearbox. And so I ended up having to drive to the nearest garage, and they did fix the gearbox for me. And when I was making my way back to Sydney, I realised similar issue as here, in that the change of gears was just too loose. There was something not right. So I went straight to a mechanic in Sydney, and he was able to tell me straight away what the problem was. And basically it was as simple as these two springs. So if you see them there, those springs need to be up over the nuts, and it's just a matter of getting the pliers and, you know, getting them up over those nuts and locking them into place. And that actually improves the gear change by reducing the sloppiness and minimising the travel. It gives you a much smoother gear change. And it was as simple as that. That's all it was. So anybody can do that job. It's a pretty straightforward one, and it was a big relief. So a big part of this build was to try and reclaim as much as we could on the vehicle, and we decided to use a product that we heard a lot about called Evaporust. So the idea here was to try and take as many components off the vehicle that was pretty rusted, and just to put them through the solution and try and bring them back to life. And it is pretty amazing what this stuff can do. So obviously you just got to clear off all the surface rust before you put it into the actual Evaporust. And the process is very simple. Just fill up a basin full of Evaporust, you know, have your stripped down components, and just start adding them to the solution. It takes about 24 hours. There's the old cast iron pot. Might even cook the dinner in that tomorrow night, and just keep going. This stuff will last for ages. It's just not the matter of just doing it, you know, a couple of times. I literally keep this stuff going for ages. There's the cast iron pot. You can see it's absolutely perfect. There's some of the rims for the front lights. Some old tools, pretty much brought them back to new. Just rinse them off in water. and away you go. You can, even when the solution starts to go black, you can keep using it. And this was a really enjoyable part of the build, because you really do start to see some of the stuff starting to come back to life. And you don't always need to be buying new parts. There's the old grill, and we really enjoyed this work. You know, it was great to see all these bits and pieces get a new life. Thirsty work. Cheers, lads. Okay, so here's another addition to the build. These are the Bearmark 73mm LED light kit. For those of you who drive the older Defenders, you'll know that the lights just are not great, the 12-volt lights. These are an upgrade. These are all LED. Like all Bearmark products, they're very high quality, and they're just going to look the business on the vehicle. So yeah, looking forward to getting these ones on. So this is a very straightforward upgrade. It's just pretty much plug and go. The lights are colour coded, so you know it's an indicator. Comes with pretty high quality stainless steel screws. We also decided to upgrade the headlights to LEDs. This job was a little bit more finicky. Just had to play around with it a bit to figure out where the screws go and so on, but yeah, it's not too bad. Starting to look good. So you notice when you turn on your indicator, it flashes really quickly, so don't forget to put in the 12-volt LED flasher relay, and that'll sort that problem out. So once that's installed, your indicator should work normally. Really don't understand why we didn't do this years ago. It's such a simple upgrade, and makes a huge difference. No more squinting at the road. Can actually sit back now and see where we're going. All good. We're going to be putting these on the build. Really like these ones, these black ones here. You can get different types of ones. You can check them out on the Bearmark website. Link is on the screen there. You know, there's two reasons why these are very important on your four-wheel drive. The first one for us is, you know, we're using rooftop tents all the time, and we're constantly climbing up in the vehicle to open and close them, and these just make it easier to do that. The other obviously main use for these is that if you are off-roading, that you know, have got some protection should you hit an obstacle or hit a big rock, and just give you some protection to your vehicle. They come with the fittings, very simple to put on, very straightforward, and we just think that these are going to look great on the Defender build. So yeah. So over the last 18 years, the Land Rover has certainly seen a fair bit of beach driving, between fishing trips and camping trips and so on. It's just, you know, it's really hasn't been great for the vehicle from the point of view of salt in the air and so on. But also, it's also done a lot of green laning and touring, and all the accumulation of mud and surface water really isn't great for your chassis. And even though we used to clean our vehicle every time we came back from a trip, it does take its toll. So we decided to focus on this as part of this build, and to try and at least protect what we had. So we're using a product called Dynatrol. It's a German product. But before you apply the product, you've got to make sure your vehicle is steam cleaned, and we cleaned it a couple of times, and made sure we dried it for a couple of days before we applied any of the product. The product that we used here was the Dynatrol 1000 cavity wax. Before you apply any of this product, make sure you use protective clothing, but also to protect your vehicle. So any areas that you don't want to get any of the wax on, make sure you cover them up. But the Dynatrol cavity wax is just it's designed to, you know, protect the inside of your chassis. You can see the nozzle there allows you to get inside it, and that is water repellent and so on. We are also using the Dynatrol 4941, and this is also a black self-healing. It's excellent abrasive resistance against stone chippings. and give it about 6 to 12 hours to dry. But this is a really good product from the point of view of protecting your vehicle. You can do your wheel arches as well, yeah, that also looks good. Okay, so we had a busy enough day today on the build. Could be forever deciding what type of tyres we wanted to put on this build. But we've decided to go with the STT Pro Cooper tyres, and these are the mud terrains. There are the 265/75 for the 16-inch rims. You know, the Land Rover Defender can be an awkward enough size tyre, so you know these are absolutely as big as we need them. There's only going to be an inch lift, less than an inch lift on the vehicle, but we don't need anything bigger than what you see here. So we're very, very pleased with these. You know, the STT's Pros have a great reputation for off-road tyres. We do also run all terrains on the vehicle as well. We have the Nokian tyre Rotiva, and that's a great all-terrain tyre. But as I said, when we're doing the tougher stuff, you know, these are just going to be brilliant. Just going to show you here quickly as well. We were in Germany a couple of years ago and at the Abenteuer and Allrad show in Bad Kissingen, and you know, we saw these at the Tenga stand, and they had them on a couple of their vehicles and they just looked absolutely superb. So these are you know, these are for the Defenders. They're steel rims, traditional Land Rover rim. And so the alloys will be coming off and we'll be replacing these. These are the A&Rs. You can also get these are available in the UK as well, and they're very, very popular. You know, people who like that old style look on their Defenders, you know, these just look the business. So these are definitely worth checking out. And we think the combination with these and the STT Pros is just going to look really, really well. So yeah. Would you look at that? How cool are these? Awesome. So next job are hinges, and all hinges do have a lifespan on your vehicle. They're a critical part of your vehicle, and we decided to go with the German-made Off-Road Monkey hinges and window blocks. So these are very high quality products. They're aircraft grade aluminium and that have a strong corrosive resistance. You know, taking off the first hinge you see here, you know, the old ones do get corroded, and you're working with spring clips and cavity nuts, so you know, take your time doing the first one, but after you get the first one mastered, it's pretty straightforward. Pretty much just got to line them up and you get your spring clips in and screw them in with the bolts provided. See here, the window blocks get pretty corroded. There's the new ones. Got to take off the snorkel on the driver's side to get access to two bolts here for the window block, and just that's it. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. Just see how bad they have got over the last 18 years. So it's definitely time to change them. So this is what I call my Chewbacca door from Star Wars. I kid you not, that is the sound that I had to endure over the last couple of years. But after putting on the Off-Road Monkey hinges, the sound is now gone. And it's just also so easy to open the door. I was also having difficulty to open the door. Back door of a Defender, you know, it carries a lot of weight with a spare tyre. I now have a larger spare tyre on it, and these have just sorted the problem. Okay folks, so we're about to start now a really important part of this build for us, which is the suspension, and it's crucial that we have the best suspension in place we can, and that's why we're working very closely with Euro 4x4 parts on this part of the build. And they've been giving us some great advice as regards you know, the type of suspension that we probably need to suit our needs. For us, it's about, you know, having good touring comfort, but also that when we do want to get off the beaten track, that we do have a very capable suspension in place, which allows us to do that. So it's all about getting that balance right. So this is a very exciting part of the build for us. So yeah, let's get stuck into it.
Okay, so what have we got here?
Well, what we have here is the suspension kit. As you can see, it's just come in from Euro 4x4 Parts, who we've been talking to for the last couple of months as regards, you know, the best system that will suit the build. We think we've got, you know, a premium suspension here. So based on the advice from Francois and Nick, we're running with the King's springs.
King's springs are Australian, aren't they?
Yeah, King Springs are an Australian brand. They're a premium product. They've been around for a while now, and really excited about getting them on. We're also going with the another Australian company, the Tough Dog foam cell shocks, and these are just going to be superb as regards giving us you know, the ability to go off road and also to have a comfortable ride. You know, the combination of the Kings and the Tough Dogs is just a great combination. As I said, like the vehicle setup, and having spoken to Nick and Francois, who know their four-wheel drives, and you know, Euro 4x4 Parts not only provide, you know, products for four-wheel drive touring, but you know, Francois, for example, is as close to a professional four-wheel drive racer as you get, and she's on the circuit, the European circuit, and does all the big tough races, so they know their suspensions. You know, so you know, when we told them that what we were doing with the vehicle, you know, they advised us around the types of shocks and the types of springs we needed to put on it, and that's what you're seeing here. For example, on the front of the vehicle, we're putting a bear mark bumper and winch bumper, so you know, we decided to go for a heavier duty spring at the back, but to compensate for the heavy duty spring at the front. So, but to compensate for that, we're going to have the Airlift 1000 at the back of the vehicle, and you know, this product just allows us, you know, to adjust the suspension at the back. It's pretty straightforward. You just use a compressor, or you can actually use a hand pump to adjust the suspension. If we're towing, which we will be, it's a great product to have on the back. Also, you know, if we have a heavier load, you know, we can adjust that. So that's all going to be really helpful. Another Tough Dog product that we're putting on here is the steering arm. So this is also going to give us a much more comfortable ride. We're also going to be putting on the offset poly bushes. So these are also going to be, you know, just help us to correct the caster angles and so on. So you know, with the steering damper, you know, the poly bushes, the Tough Dog shocks, the springs, and the Airlift 1000, I think we really have the best suspension that we've ever had on the Defender. And yeah, just really excited about getting this on now. Hi folks, just want to quickly show you here the Bearmac tubular bumper. So this actually fits the Defender 90, the 110 and the 130. This is for a non-air conditioned vehicle. They do have bumpers that fit onto air conditioned vehicles, but you know, we think it's a really nice looking bumper. As you can see here, it's got a winch tray. We're going to be putting a winch on the build. We've never had a winch on the 90 before. There were a couple of occasions we could have done with a winch. Most of the time we don't need one, but and most people don't need them, but we just said, look, we're going to put one on this time around. But yeah, we're really excited about adding this to the build. We think it just looks really slick, really nice. It'll protect the front of the vehicle, and yeah, excited about getting this one on. Well, it's all definitely starting to piece together. Got some new mud flaps here. Going to attach those to the original brackets. Had to take the rivets off with an angle grinder, which was a bit of a pain, but I got them off. Don't know what it is about old Land Rover Defenders. The longer you have one, the more attached you get to it. But they do break your heart. There's some new mirrors. The original ones, it was time to replace them. Left the mirror arm on, it was fine. The original one, no need to change that. So yeah, looks good. Here's some mirror vents. The plastic original ones, time to get rid of those. They were cracked. So got some new metal ones. I think I picked them up at a show somewhere a couple of years ago and just pulled them out of the shed, and easy enough just to screw them on. And lastly, the new spare wheel. The new off-road monkey hinges are well able to hold on to it, so no dramas. Well folks, that's episode 2 done and dusted. And you know, we're pretty happy with where things are going. Although my wife reckons if this is not all finished in a couple of weeks, she's going to be changing the locks on the doors. And I don't mean the Land Rover doors. But look, we're pretty happy where things are moving with this. You know, starting to come together there. Love the new wheels, the new tyres, the new rims. It's got a new bumper, side steps, whole new suspension, which has changed how this vehicle drives completely. The new hinges have been a huge improvement. It's been rust-proofed, new lights, and a couple of other mechanical things. So a big bulk of this has been done. In the next episode, we're going to be focusing more on the lifestyle part of this build. So things like, you know, roof rack comes with a number of really cool accessories, rooftop tent, awning, storage system. Storage is very important, particularly when you're driving a 90. So there's a really cool storage system going into it, drawer system, cubby box. But we're also going to be looking at the whole, you know, camp cooking side of things and the types of things we use for that. So we're going to look at that in a bit more detail. So if you found this of interest and you were able to get some ideas from it, that's great. If you want to follow us with the next episode, you can just click on the link there, which will notify you when the next one comes out, which will be a couple of weeks' time. You know, if you want to check out the free TURAS magazine, it comes out a couple of times a year, 4 times a year, and it's free online magazine. It covers all things camping, touring, and places to visit and so on. You can just go to www.turas.tv and you can just sign up and you'll be notified when the mag comes out. And other than that, you know, thanks very much again for watching, and we hope to see you for the next episode. Cheers, guys. Special thanks to all our sponsors who helped to make this project possible, so we do appreciate your support. This old 90 Land Rover Defender is now going to be brought back to life, and we are very much looking forward to getting back on the road after the next episode and start showcasing what this vehicle is capable of. So thanks again for watching, guys, and let's hope we see you all in the next episode. Cheers.